This Valentine's Day, everyone in LA is getting lucky because 818 Brewing has their special Valhalla Cherry Bomb available for pickup at 8953 DeSoto Avenue in Canoga Park. It's a Baltic porter aged in bourbon barrels with tart cherry and cacao nibs. Stop by the 818 Brewing tent with your special someone and try it. Or, if you don't have a date like Brandon and are planning a one-man orgy, you can always get some to go for whatever your Valentine's Day plans are. Follow 818 Brewing on Instagram and tell them Sexy Dave and Creepy Uncle Brandon sent you.
Sexy Dave.
Shut. Don't forget to go to buymeacoffee.com/valleyboyspod and kick us $5 to keep this shit train rolling. This week, our gay dad, Shitty Bill, got drunk again and dropped $25 on 5 beers. How sad for him. Shitty Brandon T gave us 3 beers. Shitty Nathan came through with 2. And Shitty Lisa, Shitty Chris, Shitty Tim, Shitty Jake, Shitty Nicole, and the Shitty Coming In Hot podcast all reached deep down and gave us a whole $5. Thanks anyways, you cheap bastards. All right, Brandon. You all right, buddy?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man.
Okay, well, because you're giving me one-word answers the whole day. I asked how you were doing, and you said, I don't know, grapes or oranges. What are you doing? Okay, so that's what it is. You're just stoned, huh? You're on drugs? You know what? I think this is it.
I'm higher than an elephant's ass, buddy.
This is the episode we do this.
What?
We're going to have an intervention. You, sir, are a weed junkie. Okay? You've done too much marijuana. You've ordered pizza twice in one night, one too many times.
That was a good night, man.
You act like it's only happened once.
Well, I remember. Yeah, fair enough.
Jesus Christ. Why do you got to do this the day we're recording, man? Feels like you're brain dead.
Whatever helps me, get through this time with you.
Yeah, don't blame me for this shit. Classic junkie. Classic drug addict maneuver. And you know what? You're the reason weed hasn't been legalized yet. People like you. They're like, what's the worst that can happen? Pan 2, Brandon Collins. I ordered pizza twice in one night.
Dude, I'm the poster child for why weed should be legal. The only thing I fucking destroy when I'm high is Domino's twice in a night.
Right. But you should I'm so thankful we don't do this over video yet, because you should see just how disheveled Brandon is. In fact, earlier today we were at 7-Eleven and the cashier asked him if he was paying with an EBT card over and over. She's like, are you paying with EBT?
Well, it's not my fault, dude. She had the mask and like the shield behind like plexiglass, and I can't hear for shit anyways. So, and then the goddamn accent, and that's fine.
Hey,
and all
easy,
that.
easy.
Hey.
Don't be bringing the dump truck that's this soon into the podcast.
Yeah, well, I can barely understand English from native speakers. It's definitely harder from non. But so I couldn't hear shit. So what? I look a little disheveled. I'm going to the fucking 7-Eleven, not the goddamn putting on the Ritz.
Yeah, that's fair. It's just I've never seen them ever. You're still going at it, huh? I've never seen them automatically assume somebody was paying with food stamps, because she kept shouting that out too. Food stamps? Are you paying with food stamps? And you're standing there with your debit card. No, it's a card. And she's like, is it an EBT card? She just wasn't having it from you.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. We can't all be Sexy Dave. You bastard.
All right, let's jump into this shit. So, people seem to dig this Florida man game. First-time listeners, Brandon recites 3 headlines. I have to guess whether it comes from Florida, California, or Canada. And any one of those could be used more than once. So there is no process of elimination. Brandon, what do you got this week?
All right, well, let's start off with the first one. Man has been arrested for allegedly attacking Asian Americans on the street. Did that happen in Florida, California, or Canada?
There seems to be a lot of that going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah, but specifically to one of the areas designated within our game.
I would, if I had to guess, I'm going to go with Florida. Just, I don't know. They seem like the shittiest people. Although it's going on everywhere. So that headline, I'm going to guess specifically Florida. What do you got?
California, man, actually. up in the Oakland area.
Oh, Oakland, yeah.
Yeah, this guy's got a whole bunch of problems going on. So like the first person was like 90 something years old. After that, a 60-year-old man, 55-year-old woman. Here's the crazy thing. So there's special charges being thrown at the dude because he was already on bail while committing these crimes, and he got arrested for this crime while already being in custody for committing crimes with unrelated charges. So this guy is definitely putting in work. He's being held on a psychiatric hold right now.
Yeah, good. Fuck him. This isn't a good game that when it's just like, hey, guess the state this particular hate crime happened in.
Well,
anyways, what's the next one?
Yeah, lovey-dovey California isn't always the place
Oakland's
people
not
make it out to.
California.
Whoa.
Oakland, Fresno, Bakersfield. That's somewhere else.
Okay, fair enough.
Sacramento. And Elk Grove.
Do you have anything else?
I said Fresno, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you can throw it out twice for good measure. All right. Man tries killing his dog, shoots other man instead. Did that happen in Florida, California, or Canada?
Oh man, the way you said Canada, that feels like a hint.
I don't know, Dave. If
he's trying to shoot his dog, I don't know. Well, my guess is Florida, but the way you said Canada, it's Canada.
Yeah, it absolutely was in Canada.
Does it say what province or anything? That seems like some Saskatchewan shit.
Oh yeah, it's probably somewhere out east. Where do they have this pegged at?
Saskatchewan is not in the east.
Yeah, Nova Scotia.
Oh.
Yeah, I know it's dead center Midwest, but
it's where my mom's side of the family's from.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so Saturday night sounds like, I don't know, he was drunk or some shit. But yeah.
Okay, what's the next one, Brandon?
All right. Sorry, I'm a weed junkie. I can't help it.
You are out of your fucking mind.
Yeah. Man sentenced in Giuliani-related fraud case. Was that
Florida?
Individual? Yeah.
Florida. Come on.
Dude, but the headline to this is fantastic. The way that they have it worded. Basically, that man who was running a business to help businesses fight fraud was found to be committing fraud themselves, and one of the consultants for that business was one Rudy Giuliani. Is anybody surprised by this?
Not at all. Not even you, the dump truck Republican?
Oh, no. Giuliani's like a parody of himself. Giuliani now is like the parody they used to do of him on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, man, with his hair dye melting or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah,
the dude looks like his whole being is melting, man. It's hilarious. At this point, it's funny. It wasn't funny when they were all in charge, but right now we can all admit that it's hilarious. I can see you doing something like that. I can see you working for that guy's campaign just because you've had a wide variety of jobs. You take a right turn at every, what was, you worked at a mortuary right out of high school, correct?
Oh, yeah. Within 3 months, I got a job picking up bodies because that's what they had available. And then I worked my way up from there. About a month or a year later, I got a job as a crematory operator.
In Colorado?
No, starting out here in California, actually up in Ventura County. That's where I started my my mortuary career.
So wait, you were the guy manning the crematorium?
Yeah, so I had a bunch of jobs, and one of them was that. So basically, it just involved, like, I would, start the crematory up, preheat it, and then I would,
preheat it. That's so. It sounds like you're baking a cake.
Well, I mean, in a way, like if you cook, you don't put food into the oven cold. So, like, you.
So you preheat the oven.
Yeah.
You throw the dude in.
Yeah, dude or chick, and then the temperature will get up to anywhere between like 1,000, 1,200 degrees, and then depending on the size of the person, you'll come back after a little bit of time, and then you gotta pull the remains closer to where the fire actually is, so that like everything gets cremated.
Ew! So like like when you poke the kindle in a fireplace.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, it's a more elaborate
Gross.
version of that. Yeah, this little metal broom that you use to, pull everything. All
and you were doing that right out of high school, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, within a year and a half. Yeah, that's when I started doing it. And oh god, this one time though, So not every cremation goes as planned. You think you just put them in there, let them burn for a few hours, and then come back and it's done. It's a little bit more to it than that. One of the things you do have to do is, like I said, you have to pull the remains forward closer to where the fire is, so everything gets cremated, including like internal organs. Well, one time I was pulling the remains forward, and I was sweeping a little too hard, and this person's heart came rolling down this chute where we sweep all the remains. Once the cremation is over, we get everything collected into a pan. And so I pulled a little too hard, and this dude's heart comes rolling right down the chute into the pan. And like, I didn't do it on purpose, but yeah, so I had to open the door, reach in the pan, and then grab the heart. And I had to, it's hot as fuck in there, so I had to ski ball it back in for 300 points.
Ski ball?
Well,
you threw a man's heart?
I had no other way to just like gently set it in there, man. Yeah, dude, we're talking that thing was cranking probably about 700-800 degrees at that point, even towards the end of the cremation. So, like, I can't just put my hand in there. I ruined a pair of glasses doing that. It was at 400 degrees, and this anti-glare shield out of my glasses got warped at 400 degrees just being in front of it. So, like, yeah, that heat will fuck you up, man.
Well, that's its job. I feel like if you were in the mob business, that would be the ultimate front for anything, is a crematorium.
Yeah.
I mean, you got problems, people disappear, they ain't finding them after that.
No, man. Plus, you got a business you can funnel money through and shit like that.
Exactly, yeah.
So
that's not anything new, right? I'm not putting those ideas out in the universe. That's been done before, right?
Oh yeah, there's been movies, about it too. Like you even used to like ship drugs internationally and shit like that. So, all sorts of crazy shit, man.
I had a few ideas for laundering money. Just as a writer, you do your research and you find I know how to do all kinds of crazy shit. That would work in theory, of course, in principle. But the one thing I figure, if you really want to turn cash into money you could put in the bank, the best way to do it is to release some kind of self-help album, or anything. Just ASMR. Just make a bunch of noise in a microphone.
Yeah.
Put it on Bandcamp, where bands and unsigned artists go and they have their shit on there, and you can buy it for whatever price you want. So what you do is you go and buy a shit ton of Visa gift cards. We're talking like the highest they have, I think it's $250 or $500, whatever it is.
So wait, is this how you did shit in the Canadian mob?
No. We don't have a mob. We have a moose. But no, for real. If you wanted to turn cash into money you could put in the bank at 15%, this is how you do it. On Bandcamp, take each $250 or $500, whatever it is, buy your own album with it until you run out of the cards. So let's say if you're looking to do 20 grand, okay? So if it's $500 cards, you got to do it 40 times. Yeah, it's going to take you all day, but at the end of it all, Bandcamp only takes 15%. And I think after 5 grand, it's only 10%. So if you got more than 5 grand, which if you're laundering money, you obviously do, for a 10% hit, it goes into your bank account free and clear. Where'd you make this money? Oh, selling my self-help album or whatever the hell it is. You could even just like strum your guitar along to it, whatever. Yeah. And be like, yeah, we're some obscure band, whatever. They don't monitor like how many people have purchased it or why the fuck is this $250. They just see it coming from Bandcamp into PayPal, and then from PayPal you put it into your bank account. And by the time it's all said and done, you're looking at 10-15%. Whereas if you were to launder money through the mafia or whatever, it's going to cost a lot more than that.
All right. Well, you heard it here from Canadian Mob Dave.
I'm not Canadian Mob Dave. Like I said, I'm a writer. I do my research. I figure this shit out. So, I don't know. Someone out there try it and let us know how it goes.
Yeah, but reach out to the Valley Boys. We'll have you on from jail. And see, we'll do a live from prison episode.
Here's the thing about that. Like, it probably does work. I'm probably not the first person to think of it. The only reason you don't know about it is because no one's gotten caught doing it, because it's an airtight plan. Yeah. Is it not?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing illegal about it.
I was just talking to somebody about this in an Uber, nonetheless.
I mean, other than the illegal part, but yes, Uber.
Well, it depends. Like, I didn't say illegal money. I said if you need to launder money.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so much better. Totally fine.
It's a lot harder doing it the other way around. Like if you have funny money in PayPal, trying to get that turned into cash without the government knowing, that's almost impossible. If you've figured that out, feel free to reach out to the Valley Boys and let us know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not. I've never had that job. I've always been pretty on the straight and narrow. I did get one of my favorite things on Instagram is this this thing that shows you what you were doing 5 years ago on this day or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. Today, what is it? February 10th, 7 years ago today, I was on tour with 4 other comedians. There was 5 of us total. And we went all across Western Canada. And this time of year in Canada, it's like Frozen 2, you know? Everything's covered in ice, snow. It's just shit. And we were on the road we were driving for a good 6 to 10 hours a day. And I can't tell some of the stories that happened on that because, you know, I don't want to. I didn't do anything, but everyone else did. Garrett did it all. But one of the funny things about that is during that time, I got this notification here. I'm just going to pull it up real quick. So there was this dude who fucking messaged me.
All right.
On Facebook, on my Facebook page. I have a little page thing, and he sent it a message. And it just says, "Why is my girlfriend liking all your Instagram pics?" And it's funny how that keeps fucking happening. Like, if you ever look through your message requests, it's where people you don't follow send you a message anyway.
Yeah.
It's all shit like that. Why is my girl... Like, someone on Twitter is doing that. They're like, "State your intentions with my baby following you."
Man.
I'm like, what the fuck? And it's, you know, these are weird. This particular one... on Twitter was some anime freak, you know, where they have like a furry as their picture and God. Ugh. So anyways, back to this guy. He says, "Why is my girlfriend like your Instagram pic?" And then the next day he says, "Hey, HEY, all caps." And I said, "Oh, you're serious? What's her username?" And he sends it to me. And then I reply a couple days later, "Sorry for the delay. I had to wait until she accepted my follow request so I can like all her pictures and leave weird comments from the hot tub party she was at." And the dude replied, his name's Adam. He says, "I live in Winnipeg. How about I show up at your next show?" And I said, "Tonight at Ozzy's, 9:30. Always good to have fresh faces in the audience." And he goes, "I'll be there." And I said, "Bring your sexy girlfriend. I want to meet her." Now, you might think that's a stupid thing to do. Like, I wouldn't do that now. Fuck no. Because, like, this was 7 years ago.
Yeah, plus as Winnipeg, there's a good chance someone brings a gun to the show now here in L.A.
Well, either or. I mean, if he did show, he didn't end up showing up, by the way. But still, I wouldn't do that now because I've encountered so many fucking crazy people from the internet. Like, people have gotten a hold of my cell phone number and they'll call. Someone once called they managed to disguise their number to look like it was some other number.
Yeah.
So I get a call from an 818, you know, whatever. And he's just like, "I'm going to fucking kill you." And he goes off about, like, just naming all these crazy specific threats and specific things about my life. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I call the number back, and it's this lady in the valley, you know? And I was like, "Hey, I just got a call from this number." She's like, "No, I'm here by myself. I didn't fucking call you." I'm like, "Okay, but I just hit the call button, and this was the same number. Someone called saying all this crazy shit." And then she's like, "Well, who is this?" I'm like, "Who is this?" And then I start figuring it out. Someone did that. I had to go to the police about it just to sort of cover your tracks, you know?
Yeah.
And because if someone's harassing you, you go to the police way too late, there's still nothing they can do about it. You have to have a record of, like, constantly bothering the police before they do anything. Yeah. So whatever. I just went down to the department here in fucking Reseda, and this was a couple years ago. It was when the Dodgers were in the World Series, and the fucking cop sitting at the desk, he's not paying attention to anything I'm saying. He's just, and why would he? Like, I even said, like, this is really mundane and stupid, and I'm sorry for even being here.
Yeah, and he's got the game on. He's got priorities.
He's got the fucking game on, and he's typing it up, and he typed my address as Weasel Avenue. Like, he wasn't even paying attention. So, anyways, yeah, now I would never do that. I would never fucking say, "Oh, bring your sexy girlfriend. I want to meet her." Not if some guy was like, "I live in Reseda or wherever I'm performing. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm gonna show up," and nope.
Yeah,
you don't fuck with a jealous person. A jealous man will show up and do something fucking crazy. Those Kyles punching holes in the wall
Yeah.
Monster Energy drink tattoos on their neck. Those guys are no one to fuck with. Like, it's a big joke until you're the fucking drywall they punch.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm not a puncher. You know, if someone starts hitting me, I don't know what to do. Just start shrieking. I got like I call it the shrieking pterodactyl.
Yeah.
And it's my dad's so embarrassed. I basically curl up like a turtle and I start shrieking. And my dad, the cop / kickboxer, is humiliated of this, but you know, whatever.
Well, and that's why we generally go out together too, so that I can protect my bottom Dave.
Right, you are a very intimidating figure.
Oh, well, what can I say? You know, when you're this much man, people are genuinely intimidated by it.
The issue with that,
yes,
is that you are so intimidating. You're fucking doing drugs again. You're so intimidating that people will look at you and think, "There's the guy I gotta fight." You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like,
No,
don't blow that into the microphone. It clips out when you do that. You fucking junkie.
Oh,
and
yes.
dude, chill out on the weed. Just drink your beer. You didn't even really get into it that much.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
We got all this beer from 818, and you're just letting it stew there while you do your drugs.
Well, I'm savoring it, man. It's a good beer. It's a good sipping beer. Like, you know, if you're drinking like Old Milwaukee or something like that, you just want to pound it as quickly as possible to get drunk. This is a nice sipping beer that you enjoy for the next hour or so.
It is. That's that cherry bomb they have, the Valhalla cherry bomb. For real, go and check it out. Follow 818 Brewing on Instagram. Get all the details. See all their fancy ads for it. It's pretty good, and they keep everything local. Another cool thing about them is they have really cool can art, as I discussed on the last episode. I don't know shit about beer. I just like it or I don't. And to me, I buy beer based on the can. They have some pretty cool cans, and they're always looking for artists, local artists only. 818 Valley Boys or Valley Girls. If you're pretty good with the pen, the paper, the ink, whip something up and show it to them. You never know what could happen. So I'm also drinking this Good Day IPA. It's a double. It's a dipper.
Yeah, how's that doing over there?
It's good, but you got to respect it. Otherwise, you get too drunk.
Well, yeah, same with the Valhalla too. And with a beer with a name like that, you would expect it to be on the stronger side, and it is. But yeah, the other little extras they put in to give it that little flavor. It's skull fucking the taste buds right now.
Stop
man.
saying. Why do you have to say skull fucking, dude? It's a commercial, basically. We're talking about a business, and you're mentioning skull fucking. As soon as you saw the Viking dude on it, you're like, oh, he could skull fuck people. I was like, no, he can't. And you said, well, I'm out of ideas then.
Yeah, well, I mean, with a beer like Valhalla and a big angry Viking on there, like that's what you think of. That's what Vikings do. It's like. I
really hope they don't listen this far into the episode. They probably don't. Which is cool. All right, so Joe Biden. I don't know why I keep singing that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's not even a song, and I keep singing it.
Yeah, your leather daddy Joe Biden.
That's not a thing. Leather daddy?
Yes.
What does that even mean?
Dude, you want to you want him in that full body leather suit and. Yeah, dude, and the gimp mask and all that. And you want to be like tied up, all these,
Why do you keep saying it? Why, so is that you with Trump? You want creepy Grandpa Trump to tie you up and bat you over the head with his little mushroom dick?
No, but I take a run
Toadstool
at Melania,
dick.
No,
Melania, Melania looks more like a grandpa than anybody, dude. Well, she's falling apart like a brisk wind, and her face will be ripped off.
Good Lord, man. Well, at least Trump was trying to do shit to help the American people, unlike bullshit Joe. Oh yeah,
bullshit Joe.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, well, allow me to introduce a new segment on the Valley Boys. It's called "Joe Biden, Where in the Hell Is My $2,000 Check?"
And I didn't approve of this.
And this week, Joe Biden, where in the hell is my $2,000 check? Not a $1,400 check to make. With the $600 to do $2,000, the $2,000 check you said that you would get us even after the $600 had already passed. Where's that $2,000 check?
I bet he's not listening. But all right, glad you got a new segment. Where's my $2,000 check? In fairness, he did promise that shit, and we are now 3 weeks into a Joe Biden presidency, and there is no $2,000. I don't get it.
Yeah, all he's
I'm a
done is
person of consequence, so I don't get. No, I'm kidding. I'm foreign. I don't get it. That's why. Basically, Canada told me, "Oh, fuck off, you're America's problem," and America told me, "Fuck off, you're Canadian." So I don't get any stimulus, anything.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm supposed to, but unfortunately, we couldn't get out the $2,000 checks that had wide support, even bipartisan in some cases. Couldn't work on that. But what we are going to do is push an impeachment trial against a president who's out of office and who isn't going to be convicted, because 45 Republicans have already come out questioning the legality or constitutionality of doing this to a president who's no longer in office. So basically, unless they start fucking around, and threatening like the 14th Amendment to get him out, that isn't going to happen. So, but we had time for that, but not actual legislation that could help Americans out right now.
Well, and of course, that's what they love saying. This whole impeachment thing is a farce because we could be doing other things. Meanwhile, Trump could have also approved a $2,000 stimulus at any fucking time. We had one stimulus check the whole time that he was president, and it was $1,200. That works out to like what, 2 tacos a day?
There was that second one for $600, but Trump did say he would.
Did that come in before he left? Okay,
Yeah.
so we had $2,000 total under the Trump presidency. Under the Trump regime, there was $2,000 possible, spread out over what, 10 months?
Yeah, 1,800, but yeah.
Oh yeah, 12 plus 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah, druggy Dave over there doing whatever drugs he's doing that's getting them all drugged up.
You know what I'm high on right now, buddy?
What's that?
Life.
Jesus fucking Christ. Like literally there should just be this glowing Jesus Christ behind you and
yeah, dude, I don't need
harp
drugs.
music.
I don't need drugs. I got the Lord inside of me.
I wouldn't doubt if you're bottom Dave for the Lord too.
You know what? I would, man. If the Lord was a real thing, if I believed the Lord was real, I would totally let him do whatever he wanted. I mean, the idea of heaven going and swimming with dolphins, that sounds pretty good. You know what happens in heaven? People get $2,000 a month.
Yeah, and it's called Canada because even though they have 1/10 of the population and less than 1/10 of the economy, they can still somehow manage to pay people for staying home.
And still pay less in taxes. That's an urban legend that you pay more taxes in Canada. That is true if you make more money.
Sure.
But in Canada, it has that the brackets get bigger as you make more money.
Yeah, and same thing here in the U.S.
Why can't I think of the word for that right now? This is specific. Anyways, it is like that in the U.S., except for it caps off at a certain point, and then people pay nothing.
Yeah.
And we talked about this, where if we had a universal tax rate, say 5%, we would have everything we need. So people on the bottom paying 5%, guys at the top are paying 5%. And then people will argue and say, well, people on the bottom should not be paying 5%. And I don't disagree with that. It's like, okay, but the alternative is they still pay 5% or 10% or whatever, and the guys on top pay nothing. So why don't we all just pay 5%? Why don't we all pay 10%? We talked about that with Mark Norman. And he was like, he said that. You know, why eat the rich if they pay their money, but they're not?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
They're paying nothing. I don't agree with that. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Oh, shit. Yeah, well, we're ifs and buts, candies and nuts, then we'd all have lollipop dreams. But
is that how that saying goes? I've only ever heard it on The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And Homer forgot the last part of it.
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right.
Anyways, so if we're going to have, if you're going to start comparing Canada to the United States, baby, I am your guy for that.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny, like you just rattle off, and this is where we come together on things. With the part that makes Dave hate himself because he's in agreement with me on something, but there's a lot of things that they do in Canada which just seems common sense to me.
Everything's better in Canada. The only thing that America beats Canada on is the weather. And I know that sounds like a joke or whatever. It's not a fucking joke, dude. Minus 40. Yeah. What is it right now? So we're in mid-February, and I'm rotating between a sweater and a T-shirt throughout the day.
Yeah.
And in Canada, it's like minus 30. Or in Winnipeg, it's like minus 25, minus 30. Fuck that shit. I'm over that. I'm not living there ever again. I don't give a shit how shitty things are in the States. I am not leaving Southern California to live anywhere else.
Yeah, man.
Fuck
and
that.
Yeah, so like right
Orange
now.
County. I'm going to Orange County.
There you go. Yeah, so like right now here it's 13 degrees at 6:30 our time.
13 degrees Fahrenheit?
No, Celsius. So it's about 57-ish, give or take, Fahrenheit.
I was going to say 13 degrees Fahrenheit sounds about right. I have no idea what Fahrenheit means. It's like when you're stoned and you give an answer to a question that nobody asked when you're like, I don't know, grape. To me, that's what Fahrenheit is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 57 grapes outside.
So the easiest way to do it is like take the Celsius temperature and then just double it and add 32, and that'll get you in the ballpark.
Still, who wants to do that? Who wants to sit around doing that shit?
I agree. Like, they should just have Celsius here, considering that's where it is everywhere else in the fucking world.
It's a universal and uniform way of measuring things. It's very simple. 0 is freezing, 100 is boiling. And
yes.
Everything else is a uniform way of measuring temperature.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's grape oranges.
Yeah. Yeah,
Same with miles. Miles has nothing. That doesn't mean anything. I got used to that. I figured out what 55 miles is, 65, 70, whatever.
Yeah.
Because of driving all the time. But, Jesus, Brady, you really got to stop that shit, man. You are not on it today. I'm carrying this shit. My back hurts enough.
Oh.
I got to carry this shit by myself. This is why you're the assistant. And you didn't even assist anything. I had to set it up because you were too fucking stoned. I set this whole thing up, the whole podcast in your garage, and I go inside and you're playing video games. You have the controller in your lap, but you're looking on your phone. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, will you pull your shit together? We're putting on a show here. There's 8 people listening.
Those are 8 important people, though, sir.
Yeah, well, they're expecting more out of you, Brandon. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in your drug use. So something I like to do is every once in a while I'll Google fart or farted and filter it by news to see whenever fart or farted shows up in a news story, because let's get real. Anytime that happens, it's fucking hilarious.
Absolutely, dude.
So one thing that made the news is women's farts smell worse than men's, according to science. Are you surprised by that at all?
No, dude. Like, women ruin most things, so like they can't even let us enjoy farting. Like, that's how petty they are.
Well, maybe it's that they're better at it than us. If it stinks worse, they're better at it. Is that the whole point of a fart?
Well, to me, it's a combination because you want to get the right pitch. Like, it's not enough to just fart. Unless you're trying to creep people. If you want the silent stinker, I'm all for that. I can appreciate that. But, I like a little bit of pitch, man. And you get the right pitch and you can make people's faces wince. I did yours earlier, dude.
Yeah, your farts are disgusting.
Yeah, I like to go in full duck mode where every step I take.
I'm gonna fucking puke, because that's a good impression of your own farts. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a duck. Someone's stepping on a duck.
Well, it's a little bubblier than that too. I mean, I don't think there was any.
It's disgusting.
Any discharge.
Your farts are horrible. Oh.
But it was definitely what. There's some moisture, a little bit of swamp ass going on after that one for sure. Puke. Puke,
dude,
puke, puke,
stop
puke,
it, man.
puke, puke.
I have a weak stomach, and Brandon always makes it churn, whether he's talking about anything or he's eating. Because when Brandon eats, he's like a circus bear. He has to reach across the table onto your plate with his big greasy mitts and fucking just manhandling. Ugh. I'm going to puke just talking about it.
Hey, I got to wrestle the bearded lady at 3 o'clock, buddy. I need my protein.
Ugh. Anyways, women's farts stink worse. So according to this article, a popular TikTok doctor has gone viral. Whatever the fuck that means. What's a TikTok doctor?
I fucking don't know. I barely pay attention to TikTok the way it is.
Yeah, we're too old for that shit. Although Jarrett's on it all the time. Shout out to Jarrett. He always likes that. He's like, oh, those Twitter videos, that's been on TikTok for a week now. I'm just like, I don't care.
Oh, for forever young, I guess.
But a TikTok doctor, whatever the fuck that is.
Okay.
He must have went to Trump University. He went viral for promoting the little-known fact that women's farts stink worse than men's. And this is according to Mad Medicine. The doctor explained how in 1998, there was a study done that tried to clarify that flatulence within women is more distinctive and more smelly than in mints. Now that's funny because they did that in '98, and only the results are shown now because of TikTok. Ladies, is that why you're never farting? Is because it's just this disgusting nuclear bomb of stench, so you don't want to subject us to that? Is that what's going on? Because me and Brandon will fart instead of saying words sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
You know, how you today, buddy? Yeah, that's a Brandon fart. It sounds like he's underwater when he farts.
I'll be honest, man. Like, as a man, I find it attractive when a woman feels comfortable enough to fart in front of me.
You like it when a woman farts?
Yeah, dude. To me, it's like one of the most down to earth things, like to like completely take any embarrassment or whatever out of farting. Like that's, you know. What? I'm just saying.
So do you like the smell of a woman's fart?
I don't know.
This
possibly.
Is gross. This is yeah, possibly. You would never know. Have you ever paid a prostitute to fart on you?
I mean, not yet, but it sounds like I got to put that on the docket now.
I'm pretty sure one of them is Leto to fart, and you probably just thought it was you.
Yeah, it's because I fucked the shit out of him. You were asking for that one, Dave.
Fucking gross. Another article is here's what would happen if you held in all of your farts. Okay, so if you hold in a fart long enough, the gas could be absorbed into your bloodstream, passed into your lungs, and eventually exhaled as a more socially accepted burp. But guess what? That's a mouth fart.
Dude, that's some bro science shit right there, man.
This isn't bro science. This is real science. Men's health. They're the Fox News of health magazines.
So legitimate news coverage is what you're saying. Okay.
But imagine that, dude. Like if you're just holding in farts all day, which happens, you know. But I'm a smoker. People think I don't fart. I do. What do you think I'm doing out there when I'm smoking? You know?
Yeah.
It's fart city, dude. I just got caught sending a fart to Conrad. We do this thing where, oh God, we do this thing where on Instagram messages you could send a little audio recording and you just record a fart and send it.
Nice.
You know, and it's hilarious. And I had this one fart where it sounded like several ducks were being strangled. It was like it went, you know. And then I sent that. I got caught. Whatever. Anyways, if I had held that in, I'd be burping farts. So I wonder, every time you hear a girl burp, is she also farting?
Man, I guess. What if she like burps?
Because if she's holding in her farts, you know, and she's not smoking, she's not whatever. I don't know, man. I know that. Way back in the day in Winnipeg, we knew these girls who we hung out with this group that worked at Walmart. There was like 4 girls. They all worked at the St. James Walmart in Winnipeg. Shout out. They talked about the fart section, and it was in the tires. You can go and fart section there because number one, it already smells like rubber and whatever.
Yeah, but the rubber isn't supposed to smell like it's burning.
Well, number two, it's predominantly men in there. So they would go and fart in that area. So I wonder if all girls do that. To Brandon, fucking stop smoking weed, dude. We're only at 38 minutes. We have so much more to cover, and you're just doing drugs.
Baby, I'm priming myself for the second half. I'm that fourth quarter stud.
Oh God. Okay, we can't do this anymore. We can't do this where we get all fucked up on drugs. Like I have a moral objection to it. I didn't before. Now I do. Oh, because here I was talking about farting in Walmart, and you had to interrupt it by doing drugs. So therefore, it's affecting my life.
Oh, okay. Well, pardon me for oppressing you. Yeah. I guess I'm part of the patriarchy.
Oh, I saw that. What's her name? Phoebe something. She was on Saturday Night Live recently.
Yeah.
Someone will fucking email me and tell me, oh, Phoebe Bridges or something. Whatever. If I said that wrong, fuck, whatever. Go ahead. Scream at me. But she was on Saturday Night Live last weekend, and like the most recent one, and she smashed a guitar.
Yeah.
And then people came out in full force against it. Like that Brooklyn dad fucking dude. I don't know.
That guy's a fucking moron, dude.
Here's what you were talking about before. It's like, what are these people that only complain about Trump?
Yeah.
Like, what are they going to do once Trump's out? Well, here we are.
Yes.
So he says, I didn't like that song either, but I felt it totally unnecessary to smash the guitar. And he ended with, that seems a little extra. Now, this is like I don't know how old he is. He looks like he's 50. If I had to guess, whatever, it doesn't matter. But like, number one, as soon as you're 50 years old and you're saying that's extra, something 17-year-olds say, you look like that fucking meme of Steve Buscemi going, "Hey, what's up, kids?"
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, how did you go 49 years without saying that's a little extra and whatever? Anyways, it's like, you know, and the artist Phoebe whatever has a good sense of humor about it. She's retweeting jokes about it. Like some dude was like, "Hey man, this girl smashed a guitar when there are thousands of starving people in the world who would just love to eat that guitar." And then one of the funniest fucking comments, indirectly funny, was like, "This is a prime example of white privilege." It's like, what the fuck? So what was Jimi Hendrix doing? Like the guy who popularized that, was he exemplifying white privilege by smashing a guitar at Woodstock 1969? Or is that just a fucking badass rock and roll thing to do? Like whatever. Like I don't agree with the whole like you should donate that guitar to whatever, the inner city youth. But if you're gonna go after somebody, go after the guitar manufacturer or something. Or hey, you don't spend your earnings on giving enough guitar. Like why smash it? Fuck you. It's part of the show. Like, and then they have to say, "Oh, I didn't like the performance either." Like that dude that we were talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, Brooklyn Dad defined. I hate that piece of shit, and I'm glad we can both agree that
I don't hate him. We follow each other. I got no problem with him. It's just, I don't know. I felt like that tweet was just a little too much. Like he goes outside to smoke cigarettes, but farts, and then all he does is smoke his farts.
Right. So that was his whole shtick. Is like the. He would do all those jokes, but about Trump. And then now that Trump's out of office, he's applying it to normal, everyday people. And
right, but trying to be woke and trying to be...
Yeah. Well, there's nothing more woke than a 50-something-year-old white male telling a woman how to rock and roll.
I agree. Good point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like if we want to go down that fucking route, and I'm surprised one of the people on that side hadn't called him out already for it.
Oh, I'm sure they have. I mean, like the majority of the, because I looked at the comments and the ones I saw were like, "Shut up,"
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and it's like, yeah, like this isn't the world isn't so good right now that that's what we can complain about.
Yeah,
I'm not saying every tweet that somebody like that has needs to be about trying to better the world, but the way that he's phrasing it certainly sounds like it.
You sound like
I really don't have anything against him, to be honest. I don't. I like what he says most of the time. 90% of everything he says politically, I agree with. You know, it's a lot of it's the same thing. I myself am guilty of that. I amassed, I would say, at least half of my following finding a different way to say Trump sucks every day for like fucking 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I knocked it off because, you know what? Number one, I am a comedian, and if it's not funny, it's not worth saying. Number two, it's hacky as shit.
See, and that's what I always said with the Trump jokes. It's not that I didn't mind people making fun of Trump. I certainly have no, allegiance to him. But when you hear the same people making the same exact joke over and over, it's like, holy shit, man.
And that's what I'm saying. I ran out of ways to say he sucks. And so, yeah, I shifted focus. And I essentially stopped accumulating followers.
Yeah.
Which is fine. They have to do it based on my real jokes, which,
yeah, but
not that great.
But like going down that hole, so like when we were talking at dinner the other night, the ratings have come out, like the post-Trump ratings, and like CNN's primetime slot from like I think it's like 8 to 11 p.m. Their ratings overall are down like 44%, somewhere around there, since Trump left office.
Christ.
Like that's how important he was. MSNBC, I think their ratings are down like 18.5%, something like that.
I don't doubt that for a second. And didn't you point that out on a previous podcast where somebody at one of the networks had said that on a late night show? They were like, Trump is the greatest thing for ratings.
Yeah, it was Les Moonves or Moonves. I don't know how to pronounce his name per se, but he was the head of NBC News, and he was like overheard on I think it was an earnings call or something like that. He was overheard saying that Trump's horrible for America, but he's great for CBS, and every single one of them loved him. And I guarantee you, the media would have welcomed a second Trump terms with open arms, because it would have allowed him to exploit everything further, run more divisive stories, paint every fucking white guy in America as a white supremacist and shit like that, and further stoke the divide for ratings, as they always do.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to go. And it's what you were saying before with all of these Twitter, internet, late night, whatever. What are they going to do now? Like I told you before, the late night people are going to be fine.
Their ratings are already in the tank anyhow, and the people already watching them are the ones that are brainwashed towards their point of view on everything anyways.
It's not about pushing a narrative. It's about making jokes relevant to what's going on right now. And when you have a tyrannical government run by a fascist dictator, Donald Trump, it's the elephant in the room. You have to talk about it.
Yeah,
I don't fault them for that. I don't fault the late night shows for going after Trump. And a lot of the jokes are the same. A lot of them are pretty hacky. But you know what? When Stephen Colbert used your quote-unquote hacky joke about cock holsters, he mentioned that Trump's mouth is a cock holster for Putin. He got in a lot of trouble. And I understand time and place. Late night TV isn't the place to say that. And it is actually a little bit hacky. But the point being, it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. No matter what you do in those late night settings, it's either going to be hacky, too far, shitty, or just plain stupid.
Like, there's good hacky, though, man. Like, I know, like, Jay Leno gets a lot of hate, but, like, him and David Letterman, and I know those two don't like each other, but, like, those two were the best at, like, delivering the fucking one-liner jokes. They were hacky as shit, and they weren't even necessarily political, but the way they delivered the punchline and everything, it's fucking fantastic. So I'm a fan of hacky, but it's just when you try to take something like, oh, yeah, Trump's mouth is, cock holster for Putin's dick. Am I right? Like, that's not much of a joke. It's just basically saying it's a long version of saying Trump has, Putin has his dick in Trump's mouth.
Joke that you keep saying over and over again. So you fucking hypocrite. But going back to Letterman and Leno, they basically exemplify East versus West Coast humor. So East Coast humor is more like David Letterman. And West Coast is more like Jay Leno. I mean, even today. Like, those two dudes got on TV, 30, 40 years ago, something like that? Or whenever it was, 80s? And
late 70s even, maybe.
Right. And they have that sort of attitude where the New York comics... And it's hard to say. When I say New York comics, I don't mean the guy that follows you on Twitter. I mean, like, the Mark Normans, the Joe List, those kind of guys. Yeah. And then the West Coast comics, you got the Whitney Cummings, the Andrew Santinos, those kind of people. Although Santino isn't, he lives here. He's more, he really is a Chicago comic, which is more East Coast style. But aside from that terrible example I gave, West Coast comedy is more quirky. Like, it's a little more
Eric Andre-ish.
Yeah.
Not to that degree.
Not to that extent,
in
but
that direction.
Is West Coast, yes. And the New York comics are a little more snarky.
Yeah, fair enough.
Myself, I'm pretty snarky.
Yeah.
But it does well in LA because, let's get real, LA could have anything in the world. We have a soccer team. We have a fucking hockey. We have 2 hockey teams within 50 miles of each other, Yeah. We're good. We have everything because of the population here. But as a whole, I found that doing stand-up across the country, you can make fun of I like to make fun of whatever city I'm in. And the smaller the place, the more offended they get that you're making fun of them. But as soon as you make fun of LA, everybody likes it. And do you know where they like it when you make fun of LA the most?
Where is that?
LA.
Yeah.
Because everybody here is from somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got off on this, but anyways, when it comes to Trump jokes, the East Coast is a little more like cock holster style. you know, and the West Coast is more like, oh, did you see his hair today? Either way, it is pretty hacky because it's Trump. Every joke has been done a million times already. There's nothing new you could say.
And that's my point. As soon as you beat that dead horse, it was time to move on, and people didn't. And that's the thing that it amuses me about the left so much. As much as they'll bash him and shit on him, a lot of those people absolutely fucking needed him because he was good for business.
Right.
And they hated that about themselves so much.
That is 100% true. And myself, I'm not going to deny that I fell into that trap a little bit. I thought I was being funny and clever, and little did I know that not only was I reciting jokes that have already been done before, unbeknownst to me, but, you know, like that's the life of you have 100,000 people trying to make the same joke about the same thing and you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But also jokes of mine have been stolen and made into these fucking memes and shit. That's another thing we got to talk about later on are these meme. I'm pretty drunk, but we got to talk about these meme fucks.
I'm pretty high.
Yeah. So we have the drunk and the stoned.
Yeah.
But I fell out of that I took myself away from it because it's shitty. It's shitty to be that guy. And it's shitty to have, I'm not going to say who, don't fucking say it because I know you know. Don't repeat, don't be that stoned. But there's a big time comedian that I would perform with, huge, who barely ever looked up from his phone when he talked to me, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not anybody that was in his life. I was just on the show frequently that he was on. And he would tell me, stop making all them Trump jokes. And I'm like, dude, I only do that on Twitter. Have you not seen my fucking act the last 8 times we performed together? Of course you didn't, because you're on your phone talking to female comedians. And and then that dude gets on stage and talks about Trump.
Yeah.
Whatever. I didn't do that. I didn't go on stage to talk about Trump. Because at the end of the day, in my heart of hearts, I know that's not funny. And whatever you post on Twitter, like that doesn't determine whether you're funny or not.
Yeah.
That just all that is like you know how to create a formula for a joke that people are going to like or dislike.
Yeah.
And then you get the followers. It's meaningless at this point. It's fucking stupid. 5-6 years ago, it was great. Before Trump came along, Twitter was great for that. It was a great way to determine if you were funny or not. Now it just determines how good you are at pandering to current public events. And I'm really fucking good at that. But I had to stop it.
Yeah.
Now I try to be funny and no one likes it.
Yeah. Well, you know, that happens, man. So just get back to your regular fucking material.
Right, exactly. And that's what I try and focus on is at the end of the day, no matter what, even during the Trump shit, before that, whatever, the only thing that matters, the only way to determine if somebody is funny or not is what they say on stage. And people have told me this before. They volunteer it. You want to talk about going in your DMs, like the message requests? It's always, can you retweet this? Can you repost this? Can you shout me out? That makes up the most of it. Followed by, will you be on my podcast? And then another thing is I'm really funny. That's what people say. Not me. They're saying that from their perspective. They say, hey, Dave, I am really funny. And I don't know what to do with this information. Like, are you a comedian trying to, nope. They're just ordinary people. And here's the weird thing about that. Demographics, 90% women. It's always fucking women telling me how funny they are without any context. Without like, I want to do stand-up, none of that. Just, hey, I'm really funny. And that happens on the internet and in real life. Me and Garrett, shout out to Garrett again. Garrett Seaman in Winnipeg. He was my comedy wife. We cut our teeth together doing comedy. And I was dating this girl who had a best friend who, those two had their little inside jokes that they would recite nonstop. And they would talk all the time about how they were funnier than Garrett and I. And we were just like, cool. Go on stage and prove it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, that's the only way you can determine if somebody is funny or not. Like, you could be ripping zingers at the bar or whatever the fuck, but can you go in front of a room full of strangers that paid money to laugh and make them do that?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable holding a microphone in a dark-ass room in front of 500 people and making them all fucking laugh? Because if you're not, guess what? You're not funny.
Yeah.
And that's how I like to gauge that. So going back to what I was rambling about earlier, See, we had to stop the podcast because we ran out of material, and then we're good now that we started talking about farts in the news. But
yeah, and I got
you got
further
even
stoned,
further
and
stoned.
And you got drunk.
Yeah, I'm pretty fucking drunk right now. That is disgusting. You probably farted out your mouth, just like we were talking about. Actually, no, you didn't, because you don't hold in farts. You just let them rip. Those meme accounts. Stop it, Brandon. Stop getting stoned. All right, he's just gonna do that. I'm just gonna talk to myself. Whatever. So those meme accounts. There's one in particular. It's called My Therapist Says. Now, a few years ago, they stole a joke of mine. Whatever, and I reported it because that was the big thing going on. Is the fat Jewish? That's his actual name. I'm not just being a jerk. He got caught stealing jokes, and everybody came out against him. And they said, if one of these meme accounts steals your jokes, here's what you do. And so, yeah, My Therapist Says, that's what they're called, had a couple of them on there. So I reported it for copyright infringement because I had, whatever. And Instagram, keep in mind, this is like 5 or 6 years ago. Instagram ruled in my favor. Like they deleted the post, whatever. They put them on I don't know what they did to them, but whenever you file that complaint, it's through the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So it's an official complaint, which means that they get your information you have to submit when you file that complaint. So they got my email address, and then I get a fucking email from this particular meme group. I'm not trying to really single them out. I'm using this because this is my personal experience with it. They said, hey, how dare you report us? So, like, I'm paraphrasing here, but they were just like, if you had a problem with that, you should have reached out to us, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, you shouldn't have fucking stole my joke. You shouldn't have screenshot it and cut out my name and posted that shit like you fucking came up with it. And you know what? It's not about the credit. It's the fact that they're making a shit ton of money off of people making jokes that are trying to make their own goddamn money off of it.
Yeah.
You know? So basically these quote unquote curators are the ones soaking up all the money that's to be made from whatever it is posting dumb shit because they're good at screenshotting. Fuck that. I really hope that one day there's a class action lawsuit against all of these motherfuckers because these fuck Jerry's, these whatever the fuck, they're the ones making money. And like, yeah, okay, they credit them now. And the fat Jewish got called out like 5 years ago. This is a long time ago. And
is he still even doing shit?
I think so, yeah. But there's a million of them now. And they all do the exact same thing. And but now they give credit. They tag somebody. Like that fucking matters. You have to ask. You have to get permission first. If you don't have permission, don't fucking do it. And fuck these people. And you know what? If I see that shit now, they know not to fuck with me because a lot of those other big meme accounts, they have me blocked already. And I have not done a single thing towards them. But they all know each other, right? And they're like, oh, watch out for that Dave Weasel fuck. He'll report your ass. Yeah. You're goddamn right I will. And everybody should too. Comics, whatever the fuck. If they steal your jokes, they're making money off of it. Report them.
Yeah, and I don't see something like that as being a narc or being a snitch. Like, you're fucking with someone's money at that point. Like,
it's not that you're fucking with their money. It's that you're making money.
Well, but like you said, those people are like trying to build up their own shit and their own brand so they can make money. Okay. Yeah. And so when you steal their material, like you're stopping them from getting that much closer.
Exactly. But when the odd time, maybe it's happened, I've never heard of it, but maybe they do explicitly ask permission. Another guy I'll call out is Shithead Steve. Did the same thing, and he messaged me this very sad and depressing fucking thing about how he needs because he had his Instagram account shut the fuck down, and I had to. He made me feel so sorry for him that I went to Instagram and said just let him keep it because it was so pathetic, the shit he was saying. Yeah, and I went with it because it was. I shouldn't have, but
yeah, Canadian.
I felt bad
Dave.
for it. All right, that's enough of that rambling about that shit. We got 1 minute left. Brandon, where do you find us online?
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at El Oso Blanco 69 for me, Handsome Brandon, or at Dave Weasel for Shitty Dave.
I like how you call yourself Brandon.
Like
you're so stoned you can't even say your name right. And the Valley Boys, we're either the Valley Boys podcast or the Valley Boys pod, whatever. Just look up Valley Boys on your shit. We're the little purple guys. We're going to Orange County tomorrow. That's gonna be a fucking blast. I love that place. There's a bunch of ghouls there. Yeah. We're gonna drink some beers, hang out with some ghouls. Drink some beers. Again, shout out to our sponsor, 818 Brewing. We went there, had some sushi. You get some sushi there. It's pretty good. All right, we are the Valley Boys. Peace out and good night.
Rest in peace, Larry Flint, 78 years old. Go with God.
All right.